All right. You know, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, so I'll provide a little update. By a long time, I mean, probably just last week, I hosted my first business podcast. So, pretty excited about that. I was a little nervous the first time, but I'm very thankful for the experience. I had a good time planning everything. And I was kind of nervous the first time. I am not going to lie. No, not nervous to speak, but in a different kind of setting, a business setting. So, little update. I've been working. I guess I've been working on myself the past few months. I've been away from this app. I know I made a lot of videos or podcasts. Well, not a lot, but enough for you to get the gist of my perspective. But over the past few months, been a lot of changes going through for me and many others as well. Hopefully everything is going great. My boy Cameron, I think he dropped his album. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fact check that. But anyways, back to the updates, and I'll get on with the topic. Of course, me. I don't like to post anything unless I actually have something to share. At least in this instance, in a metaphysical occult understanding. But pretty much just means, you know, metaphysical. But anyways, update. I am a licensed real estate sales agent now in the state of Maryland. Don't don't hit me up out of state because I probably won't be able to help you directly, but I can probably refer you to somebody, maybe. But anyways, yeah, that's what I've been working on the past few months. It's been an interesting experience, because as an actual business, I get to see how much work goes into making one stable. And it's fun along the way, making content for everybody to choose you as their sole sales agent or whatever. But all that comes down to making sure you can stand out in your own unique way. There's a lot of competition in the real estate market, but you know, as long as you put in the right hard work, no, not hard work, productive work. Yeah, you gotta be careful with the words you use because they can always manifest reality. But I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm in the real estate, you know, business now. So if anybody is looking for a home in Maryland, of course, hit me up. It'll be my pleasure to assist you in that process. But sales pitch aside, yeah, it's been a real interesting experience. I'm thankful. I have a lot of people I'm working with help me grow, and it's always important, to have these types of connections because you don't want to be lost out here trying to figure things out on your own because you can't figure everything out on your own, especially in business. You gotta, have people that's been in the business, of course, that could teach you some things so you won't have to, go through the what's the word? The downfalls. Yeah, that's the word. Downfalls that they had to go through. Excuse me. I know you're probably hearing everything, like me sipping my water bottle. I'm using my AirPod earphones right now. I'm a upgrade to a better mic in due time, but you'll be alright. Anyways, yes. Whew. So, I learned, in a real estate business, you definitely gotta network. Gotta want to or like to talk to people, of course, but not just clients and customers, but other business owners in the same industry as well. Doesn't exactly have to be as an agent, but maybe a mortgage broker or even well, you can talk to anybody about real estate, really, but you know what I mean. Mortgage brokers, all that is all nice, but more so finding people that has integrity, that's honest in their business. You don't want no no snakes, for lack of a better word, or anybody that would try to do your clientele bad, because that in turn makes you look bad, and you definitely don't want to have that. So, but anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. I'm gonna get to the desire and power of will part in like 2 minutes, but yeah, it's been a interesting few months. Thankful for the experience. Uh, Started another podcast on Clubhouse. I'm still running this and networking in a sense. So I'm gonna do my best to balance both of them. But I won't oversaturate this app with just talking. I want to give something people can use. That of course helped me be successful, and all those wonderful buzzwords you say in affirmations. But yeah, to start with the desire part, while I was working my other job, FedEx. I don't know if you guys knew that. I work part time at FedEx. But yes, at one of my stops, found a book called, well, it's by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I never, would have thought that book would, you know, have, information that I've, of course, studied prior to picking it up. But I'm not surprised it does. It's a bestseller for a reason. And I highly suggest everybody to go check it out. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Pretty much goes into how, success is attainable by everyone, but, if you don't desire it bad enough, or you don't believe you can make it happen, then of course it won't happen. Now, that pretty much deals with the law of mentalism, which is one of the Hermetic laws. So, all is mind, universe is mental, right? So, if you don't believe in a reality where you can be successful, or in my case, my desire is to be, of course, a successful real estate sales agent, a writer, artist, whatever it is I decide to do. I gotta be able to have that confidence and desire and believe that it can actually happen first before I actually start, working my way towards it. And that's what separates, you can say, the rich from the poor in a comparison, And I'm talking about mindsets here, not necessarily, my bad, not monetary value, but mindsets, but money as well, because that accompanies the mindset. Like I said in previous podcasts, you can't, you know, attract more money if you believe this is a certain amount of money you're supposed to have all the time, because, you know, like the law of mentalism says, all is mind, universe is mental. So, you're only as big, or you can only receive as big as you already believe you can receive, if that makes sense. Feel free to join and let me know. Don't be shy. Excuse me. But yeah, desire and willpower. Willpower is what, through anything you may face in life, no matter how bad it is, if your willpower is strong enough to see it through, no matter the circumstances, then the only thing stopping you is yourself, literally. And, you know, that's as simple as you can put it. But, somebody hearing that, like, yeah, okay, that shit don't make no sense. But it it takes, belief in yourself. That's all it comes down to. I can't force you to believe in yourself, of course. Yeah, come on in, Michael Bell. I believe I have you on Facebook too. Yeah, come on up. Come on in.
What's going on, man? Good. Now I'm new to this platform, so I was scrolling and I saw you and I said, oh, I gotta join in.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. This is the first time we're talking to each
Oh,
other
that's
too.
that. Absolutely, absolutely, man. I like the topic of your the podcast right now. That's two of my favorite topics right there: desire and willpower. Um, uh, Actually, I was just having this conversation, if not today, it was later yesterday, about the differences, between wanting something,
Right,
desire, which equals will to have something, because you can want $1 million and never get it, but if you have the will and the desire, you'll get it.
right, exactly. So, you're used to studying occult information and all the other jazz. Now, what age? Not to put your age out there or anything. What age did you actually start getting into this knowledge?
To be honest with you, I've always been like a little nerd, right?
Right.
Always. And so for me, it started like reading books like I'll be honest, one of the first ones that's kind of set me on this path was by Carnegie.
Mm.
How to Win Friends, I think is the title. And I could have
Yeah,
been, yeah, I probably was like teen.
mm,
And that's
10.
when I started listening that there's an actual formula to stuff like this. But to be honest, I read the book, but I've always been a real social person. I've always made friends easy, so I never thought about a formula to actually make a friend. And to be honest, reading that book blew me away because he said one of the lines in there that stuck with me all these years. Like you said, not to throw my age out there, but I have a problem. I'm 48, so I read this book 28 years ago.
Mm,
Um,
right. Oh, wow.
yeah, no, I just had a birthday. Self correction. I'm 49. So,
Oh, happy
uh,
belated.
man, thank you. But I wanted to say the line that blew me away in that book was he said the best way to make a friend is to get someone to do something for you.
Mm.
Me like to thinking of
Now,
that there's actually four strategies to something as simple as making a friend. For me, I always kind of came, and then I'll say after that, another book that was instrumental would have been Robert Greene, 40 Laws of Power.
mm,
You know, and
oh,
then, and
okay.
then those are the books. And to be honest, on the topic of desire and will, those are books that help you to develop. And then, like I'll say this, the Carnegie book helps you to begin to develop a will and a desire to use it.
Right.
But it's books like Robert Greene that teach you how to exercise your
Mm,
will. you know. And so, and then from Robert Greene's book, of course, I went through his bibliography. I probably bought just about every book in the 40 Laws of Power bibliography. And so that right there, I can honestly say was like my start.
Wow, that's powerful. You got some thick books too. I'm not gonna lie.
Woo! You never lie. But I like the way he has them so that if you want to just go to a particular law, or if you want to, if you want to read it cover to cover, you can.
Right,
And if you want to go to a particular law, you can go straight to that one, and you can start working from number 23, number 18, or number 48 if you want it.
right. Dang. Yeah, yeah. I got the book. I was skimming through it, then I realized how thick it actually is. So I gotta break that down some other time. But
Yeah.
well, you wrote a book as well, right? What was it called?
Yes, I did. The occult meaning of masonry, its symbols, and the chakra system.
Right. I'm meant to get that
And
book. I'm glad you showed up, man. I want to support you because that book looks interesting. But what can you tell me about
it,
masonry in regards to the topic? My bad. Or can it apply to
oh
the
man, you know
topic in a
what?
way?
No, no. Oh, it definitely does. I'll say this: one of the, I guess you could say, one of the creeds of Freemasonry is taking good men and making them better men, right? And
Mm,
part of that is it guides you in a way to, number one, believe it or not, just by participating in the ritual and the association, it does make you more of an upright person. Because one of the tenets of Freemasonry is that you stand on your square. Square has angles, right angles, and things like that. So one of the things I can say for a fact is
mm,
that just in terms of masonry, uh, it will help you, believe it or not, it makes you a better speaker, a public speaker. And that's because
mm.
of, you have to verbalize a lot when you go in the lodge. Everybody, when you first join it, you have to memorize these passages and you have to repeat them. And believe it or not, that it affects your public speaking and your presence. And then I'll say this to tie it into the book that I wrote, because and my title is about the chakra system, right? Well,
Mm, right,
the Masonic Lodge corresponds to the throat chakra, which it literally allows you to project, to speak with confidence, and things like that. So, just with along those lines alone, you can see how something like joining the lodge would definitely help someone who lacked a desire or even the willpower for certain things, because it puts you in a position where you will have to vocalize, you will have to be clear and
right. Hmm. That's very interesting. My my grandfather was a Mason, and my father was a Mason as well. No,
oh,
I
okay.
guess I guess he had the order, but yeah. See, I'm not too deep into it, but I respect the science of it, of course, and just studying different kinds of other books. Like, you're familiar with subconscious programming and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and
And,
oh, go ahead,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry about that. No, I was gonna say, when you
No, no,
brought
no,
that
go
up, I
ahead,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, actually, what your own topic. That's the topic, because any adult, we go through life as minors, as kids. Our parents do the best that they can to instill in us certain values and morals, but society plays a bigger part than your parents for the most part, because your parents accustom you to rules, and then society has a different set of rules. But once you become an adult, I think it's every adult's obligation to reprogram their mind. Once you learn how to ride a bike, now you can learn how to pop wheelies or do endos, or you can. It's all other sort of
Mm,
things you can do instead of just riding your bike. And I think that that's how
right,
the subconscious mind plays the role. The majority have no idea that this sleeping giant is steering your vessel every day. We pay no attention to the fact that we breathe without thinking about it. Our heart pumps, all these things, all these bodily functions, and we kind of assume that that's the only role that the subconscious mind plays. But actually, every word that comes out of our mouth is like a software update. So the words that we speak either affirm something positive or affirm something that we don't want. So definitely reprogram the subconscious mind is critical.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad you brought that up as well because I noticed after. Well, I'll say this before I actually started using affirmations like very consistently. I could tell it wasn't much of an effect, but once you start putting effort into it, you start to notice subtle changes. People either start to look at you different, or you ever get stared just walking to a store, like people just have a and then go back to whatever they was doing.
Yes, I have. It's like you turn a switch on and you have this, all of a sudden you have this magnetic personality. Um, like I said, when I first joined, I've always made friends easy, and I
Mm,
never really understood the mechanics of it. But once I did, like you said, once you start putting conscious intent into changing certain things about yourself, especially the way you think, and it starts with simple things. It can start with how you dress, what you eat, getting up early, going to sleep early, things like that. But what I have noticed, like just when I begin to put more conscious thought into reprogramming my mind and projecting a different outer image than the one, projecting the image that I wanted to become. I
right.
found that, yeah, people will walk up to you and start random conversations and tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Mm,
It's like the laws of attraction. You begin to attract the things that you desire. More opportunities start to come to you because you've turned that switch on, and anybody that might be listening, when you spoke on the affirmations, a lot of people don't know the power of creating your own affirmation, whether it's written. What I would do is I would write one out and I would let it evolve until I got it to where I knew that's what I wanted. And then I would record it in my own voice and I listen to it in my ear like my favorite rap, like my favorite song. I play it over and
right.
over. And the thing about it too, I just want to mention real quick is anybody listening is that if you write yourself an affirmation, it needs to be positive. And by that, what I mean is if you're late to work, you don't want to make an affirmation saying, I'm not going to be late tomorrow. I'm not going to, because the subconscious mind does not deal in negatives.
Right.
So saying I'm not going to be late, it's going to hit here, I'm going to be late. So you want to write something to the effect of, tomorrow I will get up early and I will be fresh. And to be honest, I usually make mine's
Mm,
rhyme. So that way that I can repeat without even listening to it. So I kind of make it kind of flow. And tomorrow I will be up and early and on time, and I will wake up with a refreshed mind. And that's how I do mine. But
I like that.
believe it, and that way it becomes something you can repeat to yourself over and over. Kind of have fun with it. And then what I do is once I have it memorized, when I feel those negative thoughts creeping in, I just either listen to it or repeat it to myself over and over until it disappears, because that's part of reprogramming. That's part of the software update. Like when you update your phone, it always tells you, or your laptop, don't cut the computer off. Don't turn it off. Let this continue to update. Well, turning it off is going back to those negative thoughts. And the negative thoughts usually lead back to a lack of desire. Like you might want something. I want to get a better job, but do you really desire it? Do you have the
Right.
will to actively work towards it? And so when those negative thoughts come in and you start doubting, you stop the update. And, let me go, man, damn, I gotta go to work. Man, I hate going to this job. And those are the thoughts that usually interfere with your software updates.
That's what I'm talking about. I fuck with you now, man. Not that I did before, but I'm glad we on the
No, no,
same
hey,
frequency because yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I'm saying that when you said I fuck with you, nah. That's what made me stop. I
Oh
said, oh,
yeah,
man, this is my peoples. I know you fuck with me, man. That's like
yeah,
I
for
said, I had to
sure.
stop and make sure I show some love. Yeah, I know you do, but I feel you. Sometimes it's good to hear
Yeah,
something outside of your voice. You want to hear it from somebody else's perspective. I understand.
hell yeah, yeah. It's like it's just like a reflection in a way, But not to say we, gotta have the same perspective, but we can, you know, build in a way. If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. If that makes sense.
That's perfect. That's you know what? That's what we're here for. Believe it or not, we're here to build.
Mm,
We're builders. And see, I'm gonna tie it back into
yeah,
masonry. That's one of the key foundations of masonry. It's about building a temple that's not made with hands. Now, initially, the temple built without hands is you in your mom's womb, right? But then
right.
once you come into this physical reality, the temple you're building, and I know everybody doesn't jive with the Bible, but I'm going to quote the Bible. The
Oh, most
temple
definitely.
the temple is you, your body and your mind. That's why you got two temples on the side of your head. So the next temple, once
Mm,
once that physical temple is built, the next temple you want to work on is your mind. And I'm gonna keep tying it back into, because like I said, this is what something that I'm passionate about is developing your desire and exercising your will. It's the only way you can build up your temple. That's the only way, is if you exercise your will
right.
or not. Your will is, I was talking to Travis Majors about it. That's why I was talking about it. The only way to build your
Mm,
will is like lifting weights. So you start off with small things, affirmations. I'm gonna go to sleep. And then the thing about going to sleep, I read this in a book. I can't remember the book. Might have been Cyclomancy. If it comes to me, I'll drop it.
Psychomancy.
But if there's a book I read that said you start off exercising your will by saying, tonight I'm going to bed at 7:55. And then
Absolutely. Yeah.
no matter what you're doing, 7:55, you stop, drop, lay it all down, go to bed. Even if you was just about to start, whatever, you go to bed. Even if you don't go directly to sleep, but that's sending a signal that I do what I say I'm going to do, and it's and so that's a baby step. And then after that, you never know. Finance is. I'm gonna take the three topics: health, wealth, and sex. Those are the three topics that anything you talk about, even politics, falls in one of those three topics. So whether it's getting more money, a lot of people do affirmations for I'm gonna have $1 billion. Some people say
Right.
that's not realistic, but it's only unrealistic if you're not living a lifestyle conducive to it. So it's like you set the foundation and then you start working towards it. And then once you develop your willpower, it's something in your mind that's going to say, man, I got this. I go to sleep when I want to. I get up when I want to. I can get $1 billion if I want $1 billion, and it's possible. It's really possible. But it begins with those baby steps of positive affirmations, exercising your will, and then actually doing the work. Because is it unrealistic to want $1 billion? It can be, but not really. We have enough examples of billionaires out there. But you can guarantee that a billionaire is not going to just come home, sit in front of TV, eat some nachos, you know, and then go to sleep and then get up and go to work tomorrow. You got to work towards it. You got to do the work. And like we just said, you got to build. You got to work towards it. Now, sometimes to build, you got to destroy first. You might have to tear down the foundation that existed and then build up what you wanted to, because you got to be, to believe it or not, your hands got to be big enough for what you're going to grab.
Mm,
And so if your hands is full of all this other nonsense, man, you got to shake that. You got to get rid of whatever you're holding on to, so you got a big enough bag to put that billion into. But yeah, yeah,
hell
this
yeah.
is a topic that I love.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely glad you came. You came at the right time too, because you heard of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Man, you know what? When you asked me earlier about the books, I said to myself, man, because that was believe it or not, that was one of the foundational books, even before the Carnegie book. A friend of mine
Mm,
that I grew up with, he was going to San Francisco State, and he would give me everything he was studying. And Think and Grow Rich was one of those books that, and to say, I'm going to tie it into something you mentioned earlier, that once you start working on reprogramming your mind, it's like everything starts to look different. And that's the power of information, is that it begins to shift how you view things. So instead of seeing problems, you start to see opportunities. Reading a good book, that to me, that's the meaning behind the saying, change your stars. Because if you think about it, how can you change your stars? You look up in the sky, you're going to see the same stars every night. Only if you stay in the same place you at. You travel to Egypt right now, look up in the sky, it's going to be a different set of stars. So changing your mind is how you change your stars, and changing your stars is synonymous with just opportunities and experiencing new things. So yes, Think and Grow Rich. That's, you know what? I have a friend who told me, he tells me he's very successful too. He says that he takes either a chapter or a portion of a chapter and he meditates on it. He'll pick a portion of that book and meditate on it once a month. He said that was the secret for his success. But Think and Grow Rich, the author, is that Naeem Akbar?
That's
who's the author?
Napoleon Hill.
Dennis Kimbrough. Napoleon Hill.
What'd you
Napoleon
say?
Hill. See,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead. I started naming off all these other Dennis Kimbrough's another one, and Naeem Akbar. But yes, Napoleon Hill. That was a book that once I read it, it was one of those major. It actually changed what I read. I used to read as a kid when I was around that age. I was always an avid reader. I used to read fantasy novels and sci-fi novels. Robert Heinlein, Star Wars novels, stuff like that. And so once I read Dennis Kimbrough, I believe from Kimbrough, I went to the Carnegie. And so that was like that was a very foundational book for me. Very foundational. And it's still relevant today.
True that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You dropping dollars for the past. Oh yeah, my bad. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm on your platform, man. Go ahead.
Nah, man, you dropping that heat right now. That's why everybody coming in. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's another book by her name is Genevieve Polk, right? And she probably wrote this book like Genevieve Polk, I believe is her name. It has a spooky title, Developing Your Occult Willpower or something like that, right? And she wrote it like, I want to say like 1923 or, at the latest, maybe 1940s. But that book, it's on YouTube. I used to listen to the audio. I used to go to sleep. I used to let it rock me to sleep. But in that book, she states everything that we're talking about. And you see the title. See, the titles, words actually are like the lock and key to the temple doors, because people are scared away just by words. We're at a time right now where you got to be careful how you talk. You have to know someone's pronouns. If they identify as they, them, or theirs, you have to address them as they, them, or theirs. You can't call them he or she or even it, But we live at a time where the wrong word can close the doors to the temple. But it's the same thing with the doors to your inner temple. A lot of times we see books and we stay away from the topic based on words. That's part of judging the book by its cover. You look at the cover, or you look at the title, and you say, man, I never read that. I just mentioned that I used to read a bunch of Star Wars novels. Believe it or not, I got so many insights from fantasy novels and Star Wars, because the same story is being told over and over, whether it's from whether you're watching Housewives of Atlanta or reading Dennis Kimbrough. It's only one story to be told. Function, dysfunction, build, generate, operate, destroy. There's only one story being told. So I myself personally, I look for buzzwords. Like the Genevieve Polk book, all I saw really was develop your willpower. What? Let me check this out. And it's one of those books that she gives very simple exercises, just different ways to begin exercising your will. And that's one of those things that will throw, because believe it or not, we have these invisible walls around us that we've erected, some by force,
Right.
some by choice. And so if you don't take those walls down, you'll wonder why nothing ever happens for me, nothing different ever happens. And it's by removing these invisible walls that you begin to move outside of your what you thought was your comfort zone. You know,
Yeah.
because another part of developing your will is exercising your will is a lot of times you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, I was explaining to my daughters about when you go for a new job and you have to fill out that I-9 form, that tax form. And I told her, I said, even at my age, I get in there and it's like, I don't know what to put on that form. I go and I fill it out. You fill it out at every job.
Right.
You fill out columns A through H. All I can tell you is married in 3. That's all I know. So whenever I go to a job and I'm filling out, I always ask the HR, hey, married in 3. But it comes a point when you have to be comfortable being, you have to be willing to act, to be an eternal student. Because most of us, I'm grown, and I'm not going to look stupid. So I'd rather just not say, I just sit here and not say nothing. No, you get comfortable being uncomfortable, because sometimes just asking a question can spark something that you desperately need. So yeah, it's just amazing to me, man. It's amazing.
Oh, it definitely is, man. Because I'm glad you said that. Damn. Well, what was I about to tell you? But anyways, yeah, I'm glad you said that. You definitely gotta, work towards your goals and dreams and stuff. Because I really recently just got into the real estate industry, and it's been a journey trying to get to
Congratulations.
this
I
point.
see your post on Facebook. Congratulations.
Oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's been a ride just getting to here, but you know, reading these books, they definitely help me, what's the word or phrase? I'm gonna say straighten my lens in a way, help me, see the bigger picture because desire is part of, visualizing as well. You gotta visualize yourself out of the current box you're in. And that's the way I can put it.
Yeah,
Pretty much what you just said earlier.
yeah. Can I ask? Well, I want to make a suggestion while I ask you
Go
something.
ahead, yeah.
Have you begun to visualize yourself selling real estate and things like that?
Yes, actually, I've been
Okay.
recently, of course, because as soon as you, I guess, get from one level, you gotta start forming new pictures of yourself. So I'll say, yeah,
Yep.
recently. That makes sense. You get that?
Okay. Let me see. Oh no, it does. No, it does, because this is something I put in my book. Is that when you work towards something, you'll always find, I call it plateaus and peaks, right? And so when you're striving for something, it's the equivalent of climbing a peak. You climb to the top of a mountain, but you'll find that you'll reach this space and you feel like you kind of peaked out. It's like a plateau now. It's flat. I thought I was climbing. I thought I was going to the top, top of the world, Mom.
Right.
But the thing is, what I found is that you will have these places that will either you'll be climbing or you'll be at a plateau. And so most of the time, it's what do I do at the plateau? Because the plateau is like your rest stop before you start climbing again. And so what I've learned is when I get to the plateau, which is the flat part, I'm not climbing, I'm kind of coasting straight along. What I do at that point is I change up my visualizations. I change up my affirmations, because now you got to prepare for the next hike, right? And so one of the things that'll help you always get off that plateau a little faster
Right.
is changing up your visualizations and your meditation. You want to start using all 5 of your senses. You should, first I'm going to be vague, then I'm going to be specific. You should smell success. You should taste success. You should hear success. You should feel success. But to be more specific, you should be able to feel yourself you're opening that door to that new property and ushering those people inside. You can smell that new house smell, and you can, you just, all of your senses are involved. And then you'll find that now the house is bigger. And it has a pool in the backyard. I mean, literally, these visualizations, if you stick to the same one every day, because the visualization is like a mini meditation, right?
Right.
And I've learned in meditation that when you stick to one topic and you focus on one thing over and over, you'll start to explore the visualization. At first, you just constructed something, a house with a for sale sign on the lawn, and you put the sign up there that says sold, and it's done, and you're smiling, you see yourself doing it. Well, now walk into the house, go upstairs, and you're walking a couple through, and you're explaining the house to them, and then you go into the backyard and you show them the pool and this and that, and then finally, of course, you get to the closing price. Hey, this is going to be, this is $779,000, and with this and that, and you walk through it and you overcome whatever hurdles. But that's a way of adding, because think about it like this: your mind, your brain is encased in darkness. You don't see anything, because literally, you don't see anything. Your eyes collect light in the form of images, goes into the darkness. Those images are relayed via chemical signals to your brain.
Right.
That's it. You don't see a chair. Your mind sees a collection of images, and you say, "Oh, that's a chair." And that's why when we see certain things out the corner of our eye, it kind of trips us out, because our brain is like, I can't really what's the word? I can't really process that it's not enough information. I need to see more. So little kids see, and a little kid will see in a junkie room at night, there's a man sitting in the corner in the chair, but it's just all the clothes you left in the chair. So the thing is, you need that information, you need to process it, and you need to be more specific with yourself. So when you make these visualizations, believe it or not, and meditation, your mind doesn't distinguish between a daydream and reality, because it's just images going across the screen. So you seeing yourself selling a home for $1.5 million, it's as good as done. Now you just got to do the work. So I would just say, like you said, because you made a great point. Once you reach that point, most people don't realize that, okay, now I have to strive for more or different or better. And so part of that is changing up your visualizations, and always, of course, having a happy ending, and so the mind isn't gonna tell yourself, "Oh, you just daydreaming." The mind's gonna say, "Oh, this is what we do. Yeah, we sell houses and we make money. This is what we do." And so I would just say as a suggestion, because it applies in all aspects of life, whether you want to be a better parent, a better son, a better daughter, better job, whatever. It applies in all instances. Even in terms of healing yourself. A lot of people are wrestling with illnesses. We all know about the placebo effect. We know about people who've been given a sugar pill and their cancer disappeared. That's because their mind said, "This is real. This is what's going to do it for us," and it does.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up health, because in a recent article I wrote it was on affirmations. I mentioned how with parents saying such and such disease run in the family, like high blood pressure and diabetes runs in the family.
Yeah.
So doing that at a young age, that could set somebody up for failure if they don't, of course, change the programming. What is your perspective on generational curses in that perspective?
Man, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I had a literal encounter along the same lines. My mother passed away from breast cancer. My father passed away from pancreatic cancer,
Wow.
right? And so I was at the doctor. I was talking to the doctor about me. This is years after both my parents had passed away. And the doctor said, "Well, we got to be careful because cancer runs in your family." Man, I was just like, "What? Get out of here."
Right.
Yeah, You are not about to leave that stain on my brain, because first of all, cancer isn't normal. I was actually, by going through this with my parents, I started researching cancer, and actually they haven't exhumed any bodies past, I think, 1700 years, or not even, it's close to 2,000 years. They haven't exhumed any bodies. If you go to a certain point, you won't find any remains that are cancerous. So get out of here. No, I reject that deposit. And so that's one of the ways you break it, by affirming that no, that doesn't live here. People, for somebody to say high blood pressure runs in your family, no, bad diets run in my family.
Mm.
And it's things like that. But you definitely have to be careful. And again, we're talking about the placebo effect. Most of us trust our doctors explicitly, right? So if they tell you something, it must be real. What I always remind myself is that every doctor, their office, they are practicing medicine. I don't care if they've been a doctor for 40 years. They're practicing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, I feel what you're saying. I have the utmost respect for what you're saying, but at some point, that's why you get second and third opinions, because I don't like the way he's
Right.
practicing. Let me go find somebody else that's practicing the way that I desire. And then you look, we had people like Dr. Sabi, who showed that most of these illnesses that people are plagued by generationally can be cured just by changing your diet and taking certain herbs. So yeah, I definitely 100%.
Oh yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Thinking.
Uh, that's
Yeah.
part of the whole concept of think and grow rich. Because you know what, too, I
So
had an
you
awesome teacher. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say you cut out for
Hello.
like a good 5 seconds. Hello?
Oh, my bad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. You can hear me now. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you cut out for like 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay, my bad. I don't know where I was at, but I wanted to say, I know I was talking about Dr. Sabi and how he cured cancer, AIDS, herpes, things like that, just by changing up diets and adding herbs. And I wanted to say, I had an awesome teacher when I was younger. I want to say like around ninth grade, and he used to always hit me with this brain teaser. He would always say, "Mr. Big," because I was a class clown, because learning and stuff like that came easy. It was actually, school was actually a little too easy for me.
Right.
And so I had time. I had time to finish my homework and then disrupt everybody else while they do theirs, right? And he used to always tell me, "Mr. Bell, you are not who you think you are. You are who you think you are."
Mm.
And he would say this to me all the time. Do you know I didn't understand what he was telling me until I was probably in my 30s.
Right.
I mean,
Mm.
how profound a simple statement like that is. You're not who you think you are. You are who you think you are. So the mental image, the image you might have in your head possibly conflicts with who you can be, for lack of a better way to put it.
Mm. So now I'm glad you brought that up, with the whole images thing. And, you know, in a business sense, actually no, not even a business sense. I won't even say that. Let's say somebody is having trouble, you know, with their image or image itself, and they tried the affirmations, but let's just say the guy got outside influences, hating on them, talking shit, the whole thing. So there's counter influences, or I won't even want to say counter influences, but more so, you know, outside forces that'll try to throw you off your path. What would you say that is, in regards to a person's growth?
Um, the best way I know to combat that And again, I was fortunate to have some good mentors in my life.
Right.
Recognize them as such. I had good mentors. And I'll say, when you have those outside influences, right, the only way that a boat can sink is if water gets inside of it, right? That's the only way. If it doesn't take on water, the boat keeps sailing. So those counter influences are the water that's sinking a lot of people's boats. Now, what I can say I definitely mastered was, the only way counter influences can affect you is if you have a bad mental image, lack of self-love, lack of self-respect. Those things right there is like holes in your ship that allow water to seep in, right? So one of the techniques I was given, again, I was a young man, somebody I respected it. Of course, I respected and trusted this person explicitly. He told me at night, look in your mirror, and he had me do it in degrees. I started off 5 minutes, then you might go 7 minutes, and then 10. I would look in the mirror, and I would just look at myself. And he told me what to say in the mirror to myself. And like I was saying about the affirmations, they kind of changed, and I started saying different positive things. But you look yourself you look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, and you repeat to yourself who you are, what you're gonna do, you know. And I'll say this: this exercise also ties into your ability to speak to others. Because the first thing I noticed was I couldn't even talk to myself in the mirror for a minute. I felt silly. I felt funny. I'm looking, man, my nose, man, I wear glasses. You know, I got these shaving bumps around my neck. I'm looking at everything. But once I got into it and I began to look myself in the eyes, because that's a critical part of dealing with others, is you got to look people in the eyes. You gotta look them right there at the bridge of their nose. Your eyes should follow their eyes, or you should be looking, if you want to give them that cold stare, you just look at the bridge of their nose, but you should be looking them in the eyes. And so once I got over those little hang-ups, because we all have insecurities, especially about how we look or who we think we are, right?
Right.
But something as simple as looking in the mirror and repeating to you, having a basic conversation with yourself, smiling, laughing, selling yourself on the idea of yourself. That's the only way to put that caulk, put that putty in all those holes, so then the counter influences really won't matter. Really won't. To be honest, you know the saying, most people are tolerated at home and celebrated abroad. You know, and I was no different. But man, I used to sit around all my friends. They, what you doing now? Man, he always doing something different. I said right there with the biggest smile on my face, I sure am. You called that? You called good money on that? Yeah. Then now I'm doing XYZ. Man, that's not gonna sink my boat. You know, even right now, I've written 3 books. Well, actually, I've written 5, but I haven't published the other 2 yet. But I've written books, and the biggest joke amongst my circle was, man, all these books you read, all this talk about, you should have wrote 20 books by now. Yeah, okay, it's coming. Don't worry about it. That's not going to sink my boat. You know, you're not going to talk me out of my dream because, you know, you want to see. And the amazing part is, once I did begin to write and publish books, how many of those people you think actually broke down and bought a book? None. None. I want to say, man, yeah, none. Not those, not the detractors, not the naysayers. The naysayers just went on, they just upped their game. Man, you should start your own publishing company. I did. Well, you should be paying somebody to advertise your stuff. I advertise my own stuff. So the naysayers are gonna continue to naysay. They're gonna do what they do. They're gonna continue to your boat. It's like an old saying. It says that only against the wind can a kite soar higher. And it's the same way with success and adversity. What we think of as naysayers, that's wind. That's the wind that's gonna make your kite go so high up that everybody's gonna look at a little dot in the sky. And you know that kite not small, man. I got one of them big kites. It's the size of a Volkswagen bug, you know? And so that's what I would say for the mental conditioning of the counter influences, because the counter influences are there to help you. As a matter of fact, Cat Williams even said the same. She said, stop talking about you got haters. You know what I'm saying? Haters gonna hate. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. Matter of fact, you should have more, because the more hate you got, the more wins you got to elevate your game. Because it's like the nature's checks and balances. Think about it. You think Bill Gates or Elon Musk is worried? Man, so many people go in on Bill Gates and Elon Musk every day on social media. You know they get all those ats and hashtags, and they probably check out a few. But
Right.
do you think that's going to stop? That doesn't stop. Man, that's not going to move their boat 1 inch left or right.
Right.
And it shouldn't, because the thing about it, and I'm going to bring it back to what I was saying earlier, nobody can see your vision but you. Nobody. So if somebody doesn't see my vision, man, I'm going to become a billionaire selling real estate. Man, nobody get rich selling real estate. Man, you better go back to that job you had before. Man, that was a good job. You could have retired from there at 67. You know, you hear all this talk. You're going to hear all that talk.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, most aren't being malicious. They just can't see what you see. That's it. And you know what? I don't even take it personal. I try to use it for motivation, you know, because honestly, I'm my own worst critic. I'm my own worst critic.
That's very powerful.
Yes.
You driving the whole show.
You know,
I'm glad you came, man, sharing your wisdom.
You know what? I clicked on. I got an alert. It's a guy on here, my brother, and I saw that he was on a talk, and I said, man, let me go and see what he's talking about. And then when I came in, of course, you know how the app works. You don't always go directly to what you want to look at. And so I scrolled through trying to look, and I said, Carlton Burns. I said, man, we've been Facebook friends for years. I gotta tap in. And so I like the synchronicity. I'm glad that I came and tapped in, especially once I saw what the title of your podcast was. I said, I was going to just listen, to be honest. And then I heard you say, man, anybody want to join in, join in. So I'm glad I did, because for me to discuss this with somebody, even though we haven't met face to face, we obviously have the same similar, you know, likes and dislikes. And for me to talk about a subject like desire and will, because I'm still working and developing my own will. But this is something I like to talk about, because it's a way that I can verbally affirm the things that I want to do.
Right.
You know, we all need that little kick in the ass. We all do, not just from ourselves, because in a way we get used to that voice in our head. You know, I was recently over my aunt's house, and it was my aunt, my cousin, and my wife. And they verbally gangbanged me. They got on me about, you got all these ideas, and you know, you want to start a podcast and you haven't, and you want to write this book, and you know, you can do it. You got it. And at first I felt like, you know, that part of me felt like, man, well, I'm getting attacked. But then I had to think about it. Man, nothing negative is being said. Everything being said is, you got this. And me, my major hang up is I get lost in detail. So I'm going to sit up. I'm going to write out a storyboard. I'm going to have every episode mapped out from minute to minute. You know, I'm doing research for a book. Of course, there's always another book you can read to research for your book. So I'm going to put this off. I'm not going to finish this book. I'm going to buy me 7 more books to read, and I'll add what I got from those books to that book, when in actuality, you do reach a point where what you need is not in the book, it's in you. It's about you doing it. You can read all the self-help books you want, but if you're not actually working towards it, if you're not on it, you just read another book, you know? And it's like you can choose to sit on the curb, clap for the parade, or you can say tomorrow I'm going to be in the parade. I'm going to be the one walking up front. And then that's just the mindset. So we all need that motivation. For the most part, it has to be in us. A huge percentage of it has to come from within. But we do need somebody to say, man, you got this. I'm proud of you. I knew you was going to do it. Man, what you waiting for? Man, jump out there. Go get it. you know, because that's just human nature. That's just human nature.
Right. I got a question about that. I'm glad we're having this, flowing conversation. But in regards to, what you just said, sharing that positive energy, those light codes to somebody else who may need it. Would you say that's like a, I guess a form of, I guess, message from the universe in a way that you're that, that messenger for them?
Yeah,
You get where I'm getting at?
without a doubt. No, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm gonna use the analogy of the Matrix, right?
Right.
But it's gonna be in a positive way. Remember in the Matrix where if Neo was trying to get away from the agents and he walked past the old lady holding groceries and she just morphed and she turned into an agent and
Yeah.
started shooting and chasing them? That's the same thing when you get these synchronicities. When you walk into a store and somebody just says, "Man, you know what? You're gonna go places," because that spirit just jumped in their body. And it was like, okay, you're in the right place in the right space to hear this message, and you get it. And to go back to the conversation I told you I had with my aunt, my wife, and my cousin, honestly, at that moment I needed a space to where there was no more excuses to either piss or get off the pot. I needed that. And like I said, at first I kind of took it as an attack, but then as it got to going on, man, my chest poked out. I got 3 people who know me intimately, telling me how great and wonderful I am and what I can do. Not what I can't do, what I can do. Now, we talked about water getting in your boat, but this is wind in your sails right here. This is what'll push you from one continent to the next. So yeah,
Right.
I do believe, I mean, just as simply as me coming on here to hear somebody else speak, and I came across you,
Facts.
right? Because, and to be honest,
Facts.
man, I've probably been on here now like 30, 40 minutes. I was just going to support my brother. I was going to support him. Oh, he's on the call. I'm going to jump on here and support him. I'm scrolling through trying to find his, and I said, oh, man, I'm going to rest right here. What made me do it? I could have kept going, but it's those moments when something says, go, stop, turn left. And again, the only analogy I can use is this: the agents gave that whole little idea like a negative connotation, but actually that's a very positive thing too. Because I say this, I use that because when I watch movies, I always tell myself the bad guy is the good guy, right?
Right.
And if you think about it, if Agent Smith hadn't been so dogged in his pursuit of Neo never would have realized he was the one. Right? When we talked about earlier, you do need a certain amount of wind to blow against you. You do need some kind of adversity just as much as you need somebody to pat you on the back and to push you forward when you need that push. So I just, me personally, I've experienced it. Where was I at? I was somewhere by myself, and this Native American guy walked up to me, and out of nowhere, and I had one of the moves like, I wish to me. I was in one of those moves like, man, just leave me alone, right?
Right.
And this native, he walked up to me and he said, the face you wear is your face. And so I was looking like, man, what is this dude talking about? Yeah,
Right.
he was like, you wear your face. Many people, they have many faces, and they always wear different faces to different people. But you wear your face. That's your face you wear, and you wear it well. And so at first, I'm thinking, it's so weird ass. But then no, I needed to hear that. That was actually an awesome message. You wear your face. You're not two-faced. You don't switch up for the crowd. You are who you are, and you wear it well. So yeah, we do get these synchronicities and these light codes that, whether you want to call it the universe, you can call it God, you can call it whatever, you can call it ancestors. That, okay, he needs to hear this right now, and you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it.
You definitely on point with your information, man. I'm thankful for your presence, sharing your light.
Um,
Because
and you know what?
yeah, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You
I'm
got
listening to
something
you.
for this? I appreciate it
Okay.
because
Well, I just want to say,
you know, yeah,
I just want to say that, just like in the books that I write, I don't write from secondhand experience. I've done the work and I continue to work. You know, I might have my plateaus. I might be on a plateau for a year. I might be on it for a day. But I learned from those experiences that when you reach that peak, when you reach that plateau, that's where you reflect on what you learned, incorporate it, and then move forward. I believe personally that the only thing that makes me slightly different from others is that I can explain what I went through in a way that might help somebody else. Because a lot of the times, what works for you just works for you. I'm a people person that always works in my benefit. And I know other people aren't people persons, but that's why I read books like Andrew Carnegie's How to Win Friends, so I can explain to somebody else, well, if you want a friend, actually all you got to do is get them to do something for you. Could be as simple as, can you hand me that napkin over there? You got a pen? Let me use your pen. That constitutes a friend. And so the one thing I'll say that I have is just the ability to make what I've experienced in life relatable to others. And I kind of downplay it, but then again, I do know that it's a talent and it's like a God-given skill, a God-given ability. You know, that's my mutant ability, more or less, right? And so I exercise it. I use it. You know, and I'll be honest, books like 40 Laws of Power. I know you said you looked at that book and it was a big book to read. I'm going to tell you, don't look at the whole book. You just look at it chapter by chapter. And I'm going to tell you, I gave my little brother my original copy of the 40 Laws of Power. And it had all my highlights, all my notes in the corner. Because that's how I hit up any book I read. I highlight, I write notes in the corner, in the side margins. And I never looked at it like, and you know what? I'll say this real quick. What made me read the 40 Laws of Power, and again, I'm going to tell my age, Bill Clinton had just been elected president. And he was on MTV talking to the youth, and they asked him, what two books are you reading right now? And he said, Walter Mosley's Devil in the Blue Dress and Robert Greene's 40 Laws of Power. Back then, cell phones wasn't popping like they are now. I grabbed a pen and I wrote those two topics down because I've always been in the mindset that if somebody like a millionaire or something is doing something, I'm doing it. President reading that book, I'm going to read it, right? And so I got the book. I didn't even give it a second thought to how thick it was. I just dove in and I'm reading page to page. And that once you get to going into that book, it was so mesmerizing that it's not a novel, definitely. It's a reference book. So you'll find that different aspects of your life, personal and business, will fall in one of those 48 categories. And you can think back where you had an encounter that didn't work out for you. So the 40 Laws of Power has the ways that you can use the law, the ways that it bounces against you, and then ways that you can kind of do the wrong thing and get right results. So for me, it's always been that. I never look at how high the hill is. I just watch my feet, one in front of the other. And I start going. And, I might look up in the sky and daydream a bit. And before I know it, oh, damn, I'm at the top of this hill. Well, I'm headed for the next one now. And that's how I do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm sure everybody definitely enjoyed your, everything. And the book references.
Yes. And I try to always write the books because we all learn differently, So I hope anybody listening, if you haven't read them, books even like Napoleon Machiavelli's The Prince. That's a book that Robert Greene borrowed from heavily. There was another author in there that he borrowed heavily from, Balthazar Gracian. And his book is called The Art of Worldly Wisdom. And that's a book that I got from Robert Greene's bibliography, and I have a copy to this day. I've probably ran through 10 copies of that book. But whenever I lose a copy or loan it to somebody, I buy another one because these are books that in very simple ways, you can find ways to change the results of your life. Because the only way you can have something different is to do something different or to know something different.
Mm.
You know, you got to be able to see yourself doing it, and then you do it. So, yeah, definitely. I'm a book reader, so I'm always suggest books.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man. I added a couple to the list.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
get to
I'm
that.
glad you invited me on, man. I'm glad you invited me on.
Oh, no
I'm glad
problem.
you invited me
Yeah, you got a minute 30 left. I want you to, give out your socials, links to
on.
your
Okay, okay.
books, Cash App, all that.
Okay, if anybody's interested in my book, again, it's the Occult Masonry of Symbols and the Chakra System. It's actually just a book of correspondence. You don't have to be a master mason to read it and understand it. That's available at pillarbookpublishing.com. On Facebook, it's Michael Bell. The same profile picture I have there is on my page. Make it easy to find. On Instagram, I am who I think I am. You'll find me on there, and I'm doing the same thing I do here, suggesting books, cracking jokes, and being me. And then if
Hmm.
anybody, my cash app is $ michaelkbell 781. It's most appreciated. And believe it or not, every little bit does help because I do need time to read. And sometimes the only way I can do it is to have a little cushion to say, I won't work. I won't do those extra 2 to 4 hours a day. I'm just gonna do 8, go home, do some studying, and that's what I share. I share what I learn and what I know. But that's the best way. Oh, and I also have a YouTube because my nickname is the Professor. You can find me Occult Topics with the Professor on YouTube. I'm really just getting up and running, but it's the same information, the same style of information I'm relaying here. Very relatable. And if I know you, I shout you out. I like to feed off people, and so I like feedback. So
Sorry, Michael. They 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 got the hook on you, man. But you're welcome to join back for a little bit if you want to finish that last part out. I know you busy man. If not, all good. I respect your time. You definitely dropped a lot of knowledge. Definitely appreciate it. And yeah, y'all go support the man. Check out his book. I definitely got to get his book. I believe it's on Amazon. Let me fact check that real quick. Uh, no, probably not on Amazon. I think probably got to go to his profile and to his website, like he said, or something. But yeah, definitely find him on Facebook. You know, find me on there as well, Carlton Burns. I am a real estate sales agent for own real estate as well in the state of Maryland, of course. So if you need to find a home for you and your family, come hit me up. But sales pitch aside, what he talked about, is very much true. You know, for the most part, because we all got our own perspectives and everything. But if you definitely want success, prosperity, wealth, riches, pretty much what anybody wants or desires. No, not wants, desires. You can have it, but you gotta use your visualization, your affirmations, to change that programming. Gotta shift that programming, work towards it, use that willpower and push yourself through. Get to that plateau, go up another hill, get to that plateau, rinse and repeat. So I wanted to bring that up to him because the one universal law or rule is change. Everything must change. Nothing can rest. That's chaos magic. So once you get to a certain point, you can't be stagnant because stagnation is you know death. But that's a whole other topic in itself. Hopefully you'll come back to that one. Shout out to everybody listening. Follow me on Instagram. Same name, of course. Easy to search, easy to market, of course. But shout out to everybody listening. Does anybody else get on? Preferably about 30 minutes or so. But if not, you all have a good rest of your night. And yeah, thank you for listening.